You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's So You Think You Can Dance After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's So You Think You Can Dance After Show.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of So You Think You Can Dance here on AfterBuzz TV. It is the top 10 this week, and I've got to tell you, we've got a hot episode. I'm Kristyn Burtt, and back in studio with me, it's Jake in a tank top.
Hi, I'm Jake DuPree.
Welcome back, Jake. We missed you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
All right, and our very special guest tonight, not only do we have one guest, we've got two. Season 1 winner, Nick Lazzarini.
What's up?
Woo!
Hey.
How are you guys doing?
I'm promising you guys, Nick's gonna bring it tonight, all right? He's on fire.
He came to talk.
He came to talk, and he's got a lot of good things to share. Next to him, Season 3's Jaimie Goodwin.
Hello, hello.
I have a lot to ask Jaimie, too, because we do have... I'm going to ask you at least one question about walking on air. I love that piece, the Emmy-winning piece. So.
We're in love. We're in love.
Different show, but I think it's worth talking about. So let's just get down to it, because we have a lot to talk about. Nick has a lot to share with us.
Always.
Always.
And let's hope that we can get to Jake taking the tank top off at the end of the show.
That might be the grand
that's a
finale.
highlight, yeah.
If we can get that tweet going, then maybe, possibly.
All right, let's do that. But let's get to the opening number, which we both called the Neon Cowboy Hip Hop number.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Jamal Sims was the choreographer. What did you think? I'll start with you.
I was a little taken aback by the costume, a little bit, but I thought the choreography was really great and fun, especially for the opening for the top 10. I thought it showed them off really well. There are random tap sections that I was like, what is this happening?
It's
but
never good to throw in a random tap section. I just remember being at dance competitions back in the day and the girls running off stage to put shoes on and then coming back on and then putting their jazz boots back on. I don't know about that.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of
For
work.
a 2/8 flap. You know what I mean?
For me, it always seems is the choreographer not even... did they not choreograph anything? Let's just throw some tap in there.
Well,
let's
yeah.
just throw.
They're the
specialty on
tappers on the show, right?
Yeah,
I
want to
think
showcase
they're trying
it.
to showcase things for
Yeah.
sure. But the number grew on me. You know, I watched it the first time. I was like, whoa, a lot of color. And then after I watched it the second time, I was able to focus more, I think, on what was going on. And there's some cool stuff.
Yeah.
The one thing I liked is that everyone was featured, because we've been starting to see in some of the breakout groups and in the group numbers of we're featuring Ricky. Oh wait, we're going to feature Ricky again. It was nice just to see everyone have kind of a little solo moment, and then instead of it being the Ricky show.
And Jessica gets a lot of features in a lot of the group numbers too. She's always front and center.
She's always front and center. A couple times Tanisha, you'll see she'll have a moment and stuff like that. So that was our opening number. Tara Lipinski. I used to call her Tara Lipipsqueak when she was so tiny.
She was my least favorite because I was a Michelle Kwan fan, and I was devastated. Where was it? Was it Nagano?
Nagano, 1998.
Where she two-footed that loop. She two-footed that loop.
And for anyone that follows figure skating, Michelle Kwan had a perfect routine at nationals and didn't replicate that at the Olympics. So
Well, she two-footed her landing, and then that little pipsqueak flew in there with her Anastasia number and stole that gold from Michelle.
He's got some built-up
He's
animosity.
not holding on to it at all.
devastated.
He's not
I was
holding on to it at all.
welcome to the Olympics podcast. What do you think about her as a judge, at least?
I don't know. I have a hard time with So You Think You Can Dance bringing on people that have no idea what dance is or anything about dance, and I'm sure she's taken a dance class or two before being a figure skater, but I always find it kind of weird. I wouldn't go on a cooking show with somebody that had no idea how to cook before and have them be a judge. I just feel like that's
Right.
lame.
Strange. Yeah.
She was kind of snarky during, I think she was in their top 20 Green Mile episode, and she was a little edgy with some of them.
Well,
but
having hair like that and the way they did it last night was probably why.
She had a mane. But I thought last night she was just very positive, because the judges at this point have no say. There's no saves, and that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that way about a lot of the judges. Like, she had a great spirit last night, but a lot of the judges, they haven't been giving much criticism or anything to help the dancers along, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just kind of been like, oh, you're great, but at what point does their growing stop if you just tell them they're great?
Right, and that's where you miss Misty Copeland, I think, because she was like, work on this, do this. At least you have a takeaway for next week, because you do need to improve somehow.
Yeah. I would like to see Misty Copeland as one of the actual judges, like real judges. I think it'd be a really great asset to the show. I don't know.
She has a lot of knowledge.
Yeah,
I mean,
having
she's
a real
beautiful.
dancer on the panel.
Yeah.
Go figure. Crazy.
Yeah.
Shocker.
It'll be like having, like, the old season. When you guys were on, like, season 1, 2, 3, we had...
For our panel, it was Mia, it was Brian Friedman. We all know about her and her attitude, right? It was Dan Carity, who now is like the Nigel Lithgow of like the Netherlands.
Oh my
much.
gosh.
Yeah, he's like got like
Cool.
7 different shows over there now.
Love that. That's
Crazy.
great. Tons
and then,
of money.
Of course, Nigel and Mary. So it was a little bit more of a dance panel as opposed to like, you know, when Zooey Deschanel was on there.
Oh, we're going to promote the Fox show.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the only judge that I really like when she's on there and she's not a dancer, Christina Applegate.
Yes.
She says some really intelligent things, and she actually relates what she knows about acting to dance, which dance and acting are very similar. So I think she's really educated, and she totally deserves to
She
be there.
offers a very constructive opinion
Yeah.
that is beneficial to the dancer, I thought.
And you see that because week to week, she actually goes and you can see that she's been watching all of the shows. She has the history, and she's like, I need to just mention something from 2 weeks ago or something else like that.
Yeah,
So it's good.
Yeah, she's a
great.
fan, and I like that.
She is. Let's talk about the bottom 4. Okay, so it was Bridget and Jackie for the girls and Emilio and Zach for the guys. Any surprises in the bottom 4
Not
there?
at all.
No.
Not for me.
No.
Okay, so everyone
I
was
feel like
like,
out of the others that were not in the bottom, they're probably the least favorite for me, just in general. But it's changed a little bit since seeing this episode.
yeah. And you know what, I'll say, I'll save it. I'll save it for when we get to his dance. Because it's an interesting, because he's in the bottom and then I don't know. Okay, let's talk about
I know
this.
who you're talking about.
You know what I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about. All right, well, let's get to the first number of the night. It was Bridget and Brandon. Brandon being the all-star, of course, the Bollywood disco. Nakul was the choreographer. Poor Brandon.
Brandon.
He can only do disco.
That kid,
Throw down some Bollywood in there.
I mean, he can't catch a break.
I feel like he's like stuck in Studio 54 in some weird time warp. What's going on?
And now, like, in the Sahara.
Sahara. Like, really, what do we think of this number? Because I was like,
I felt like, I mean, I didn't really see what Nigel was saying when they said it was so crisp and so sharp. I felt like it could have been hit a lot
She
harder.
was
and it
she
could
was
have
like
been
a half
lot
blink
cleaner.
behind him.
Yeah, I did.
I thought
feel
Brandon
that
was
way.
killing it, and I felt like she was literally a half blink behind him. Like if you blinked, then like she was weirdly off of him. I don't know.
It didn't feel in sync.
Plus, Brandon is so strong. Like he's so strong and he's so sharp and he's so flat. That's why they love when he does disco, because you have to be, and you have to like you can't take yourself too seriously when you do that kind of stuff. And he always has a blast. But I thought she was just kind of slow, and I think she looked kind of weak last night.
it felt like it was sloppy. What did you say?
See, I did think it was sloppy, and I do have an issue with some of her feet and her legs. I
Those
wish
shovels,
that
those shovels on the end of those feet.
definitely.
Dig a hole.
Okay, but let's be honest though, and
But-
I've pointed this out on Rudy. Like, if you're at this level, you should be pointing your toes. This is basic 101 dance.
Especially if you're coming into it as a technical dancer.
As a contemporary dancer,
where's your
you should-
technique?
You would think
Yeah.
you would point your
If
feet.
I was
don't
just
know.
watching the show for the first time, I would have thought she was like a belly dancer or something. I'm like, ooh, that belly dancer girl is so good, but like,
Because she does. She has a great spirit, and she's so
Yes.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a nice
I thought
look.
the costume looked great on her. I thought her makeup, everything looked awesome. Her disco eyebrows were great. I love that. But I don't know. For last night, I thought that I actually liked the dance on her. I don't know why. I just kind of, for the first time, I felt like I really connected with her. I knew that she was going to go home out of her and Jackie, of course. But I don't know. I felt more connected to her last night than ever before.
Yeah.
I just watch Brandon, and that's always
Yeah.
my thing. Once you get paired up with the All Stars, if I start watching the All Star and not the contestant,
Yeah.
It's lost. It's
Well,
lost
and I
on
think
me.
that that's the point of the All-Stars is so the contestant has that competition to rise up. Because after the top 10, it's like you've been dancing with the same partner and now you're getting comfortable with that person. So it's like a whole new ball game when the All-Stars come in.
I think it's really smart because it really shakes things up. And I've got to imagine some of the dancers are like, okay, like who am I going to
Intimidating a
get?
little bit, yeah.
It definitely is. All right, let's move on to Tanisha and Ryan doing the Argentine tango, Leonardo and Miriam. I thought this was a great number.
This was
It
beyond.
was really sexy.
It was
I
sexy.
liked it.
I felt like she was holding back. I felt like Ryan was like, he is a man. He is a like stallion on stage. He's so big and he's so strong and he's so commanding with his presence that I feel like she was very straight up when she did it, and I feel like there was no give into him. I feel like she was very, here I am, I'm trying to be as technical as possible because this is her style, this is her thing. But I didn't feel like she was giving into him as much as
I think she was in her head, like just
I don't know.
worried
I
about the technical.
feel like she was too worried about the technique and not worried enough about like just like surrendering into what that dance was supposed
Surrendering
to be.
into
And,
Ryan?
It could have been a
Hello.
little bit sloppy. I wanted it to
White
maybe like be a
flag.
little bit sloppier. Do you know what I'm saying? Just like
Yeah.
really just like go for it. And I think a lot of it, I think the reason why she gets passed over a lot is like people remembering her. I often have trouble remembering her. I think it's her face. For me, she does, it's like kind of deadpan a little bit, and I just want her to be really, really in the dance. Because this dance, I mean, it was incredible. And that beginning part where it was like really in shadow, that was great, but you couldn't really see her face. You just
Yeah.
saw her body.
I loved all the lifts and stuff that they were doing. Like usually the Argentine tango is like all that leg work stuff, and they were like doing it, but like throwing her and doing it. Like
was
that was
stacked
cool.
with content.
That was
It
really
was
cool.
genius.
choreography
Yeah.
was amazing. I loved the choreography. I thought it was so unique for an Argentine tango.
Yeah, I mean they didn't go easy on them by any means, which is
certainly
great.
not.
Yeah, and Ryan and his fitness like level. I know he runs a fitness business, but I was like, holy
Ridiculous.
Who do you think has bigger muscles, this one or Ryan?
Oh, Ryan. Are you
Ryan
kidding?
does.
Are you
I get to
kidding?
touch your muscles, but I'm pretty sure Ryan
Yes,
has.
thank you.
I like your muscles though. They're
Thank you.
perfect.
Hey, I'm glad. I'm happy with them too. So that's all that matters.
And then we go to a commercial break because it is a degree move to improve moment right before Jasmine's piece. I mean, that was massive. I was like, commercial placement, here we go. And then they're all talking about their breakthrough moment. And then they would show them like dancing with their armpits up, you know, so you would think
Yeah.
of degree deodorant.
Jesus Christ.
That was a really good little stick in right before Jasmine there. It's like reminder.
Go and buy your degree. You can dance like Jasmine, legs up to here.
Subliminal
so.
messages.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about this piece because I have so much to say with this. Nappy Tabs is back. They were on tour with J-Lo, which is kind of amazing and awesome. Doing a hip-hop number, and I'm not sure I saw anyone but Jasmine
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't watch him at all.
at all.
Not at all.
Jasmine.
She's something so magnetic about the way she dances, and she's not the best dancer you've ever seen,
Right.
but she's so, I don't know, there's just something about her where you're just like, I love her.
It's
magical.
it's complete
Yeah.
abandon. Like, and you can tell she's so in it. I think she might be one of my favorite people that's ever been on the show.
she's so
great.
unique,
I
too.
feel like when you watch her dance, you're watching a different world.
Yeah.
She's just like in her own thing and you're in there with her, you know, instead of like watching a piece or like watching a person. And especially even last night, the fact that she can do that to you when it's a hip hop dance and it's not necessarily an emotional connection,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
And her costume.
Her costume.
She was hot.
I mean, I kept on had to remind myself. I was like, wait, make sure you watch Emilio. And then I was like, I can't. I go.
I thought Emilio looked really nervous. I think
Face.
it really hit him hard.
You think you got rattled by having?
I do too. I don't know. There was just something. He looked off the music sometimes. He didn't look as strong. He didn't look like he was having as much fun as she was. She looked like she was like killing it and just happy to be there. And I mean, maybe it was because she's an all-star and he's a contestant, but
She's got nothing.
Yeah, the pressure's on.
I don't know,
Nothing
but-
at stake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me though too that I've really wanted her to win last season,
too.
and not that Amy is. I mean, Amy's great too, but there was something so unique and different with Jasmine that I was like, I feel it. Like everything she does,
It's
whether it's hip hop
inspiring.
or contemporary, I go with it. So, whatever.
Yeah.
She's still an all-star. Valerie in a day. Oh, here we go. And here's another one. Dicey Oreo. This one, it was probably the one I had the hardest time with all night, I think. This one was the one that I really I couldn't get into, and I felt like she's got such a youthful energy, and she needs that maturity, and she needs something. It's a step in the right direction. I think she understands where she needs to go, but she's not there.
Yeah, I definitely felt like that piece needed to raise up another level as far as the professionalism and the maturity in their movement. Tice is giving them movement that can be created to be rather mature, or it can be, he gives freedom
Hard
in the
to
movement. Well, yeah.
That was hard to watch.
He gives
bad.
freedom in the movement quality, and it was too basic. They didn't perform it to the extent that it needed to be performed.
And I love that song. It's one of my favorite
Me
go-to
too.
songs, which it's one of those like obscure ones, but I love that song. I was like, yes, they're using this song. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
She was, I mean, that one lift, the press lift, when she was in the arabesque, like her foot and her leg were so like weak. Like there was no strength to it. There was no lift to it. There was no carriage to it.
It's like I wish the camera would have been almost at their profile instead of behind her, because you could really see the entire line, how it was not completely finished. It was.
And you saw Ade struggle to get her up, which Ade is a monster. He's a strong dude.
Was she just
and the
dead
fact
waiting
that she
it?
was, she just didn't look like she really gave
Yeah.
it
Give me
her
a lift.
all.
I almost
And the
felt like
connection I didn't think was there at all. Like I didn't feel like they connected at all that entire day.
Oh, no, not at all. It was two separate people dancing, and I almost felt like she kind of quit halfway through the dance.
Yeah.
Just like, this isn't going well, and
And this weird like hunchy thing that was happening. I don't know if it was like an actual choreography choice, but it was too much of a habit, it seemed, throughout the dance, instead of being like, I don't know. It
Right.
just wasn't present enough for me.
If it was going to be there, it needs to be like, oh, is that a mistake? It doesn't need to be like, is that a mistake? Like, the audience
Like
needs
an
to know
actual
that that's your
decision.
choice and that's what you're going for.
And then Nigel said, and this is the doomsday. He's like, I think this is going to put you in trouble next week. And you're like, well, there you go.
she's
See you
gone.
later. She's
Yeah.
gone next week. I mean, I do feel like he puts it out there and he puts it in people's head. And when you're like 13 and 14 and voting, you're probably like,
oh,
okay.
she is not that great. Like that. No, that's not true. Like she's an amazing dancer.
Yeah.
This style just didn't suit her.
And I think it's hard. She's been with Ricky the whole time, and it was a nice partnership for the two of them. And
Oh, let's be honest, it was a nice partnership for her.
yeah.
Ricky could have been fine with like a cat. You know what I mean? Like, like it would have been fine. Like he would have been twirling around the cat.
But can I ask you guys, like, when you guys were on, if you just didn't have the best week, like, did you get to talk with the choreographers, like, after? I mean, were they disappointed in you? Did they?
I mean,
give you
I've had some
notes?
chuckles with some of the choreographers that I've had on the show. Like I remember when I had a partner, her name was Camila on the show, and Camila was a go-go dancer.
Like, going back now and thinking they had a go-go dancer.
She was a go-go dancer
Yeah.
that didn't really know how to dance. And so you would have to teach her how to count, and you would have to teach her how to listen for music, and you'd have to teach her, I taught her how to spot. I taught her how to spot because we were doing like a mambo and like trying to turn her, and she was like Google-eyed and like getting
"Find a
dizzy,
spot."
and I was like, maybe we should take a second and teach you how to spot before we teach you how to do a mambo. But me and Mia had a chuckle about the contemporary dance that we did one time. It was like, she was like, do you remember that time I choreographed the contemporary dance and Camila couldn't dance? And I was like, yeah, I do. So you talk about it. You talk about those moments that you have, like if you have a rapport with them outside after So You Think.
Yeah.
I have a piece that I did that I can't live down. Like, it was so
Is it the burlap
off.
sack number?
Nope, that was a different one. I
Here,
have
no,
a
I'm
couple
gonna
pieces that I can't live down, but one of them, I mean, it was a Mexican Viennese waltz. It was a Viennese waltz to Man of La Mancha.
No.
I was with D-Trix, and literally, like, everyone at So You Think will make a comment about it at least once
Who
whenever I
choreographed
go
that?
back. Oh, wow. She actually left the show right after that piece.
That was the end of her, huh?
That was it.
Yeah. Gosh, I can't remember her
We'll
name
go
now.
to YouTube and figure it out.
Yeah, go, if you just even YouTube maybe Mexican Viennese waltz, I'll probably be the first one that pops up. Because I'm the only one who's ever done that.
Have you ever read the comments on YouTube about it?
They're so bad. I mean,
no.
but I agreed with all of them. Like, usually you're hurt by them, but instead I was like, yeah, that's true. It was bad.
Because I just wonder what was going through like Tice's head, like while it's going, and then right after, where he's just like, "Oh God."
Well, that's the thing. Like you know who you're gonna have, and you know you're gonna have all-star. And if you're a smart choreographer, you kind of want to build the piece around their strengths, not their weaknesses.
Right.
And I feel like that was not her strength at all. I don't really know what her strength is
She's a
because
tapper,
all I've been
so-
seeing is Ricky. So, and Ade is so strong. Like, I'm surprised that he didn't give them something with a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more fire. I feel like that was a really subdued, really cool kind of feel that he was going for, and I feel like those weren't the dancers to execute
Right.
that kind of feel and that kind of environment that you wanted to create.
Well, and I think sometimes the choreographers have it really hard too, because they're working with all these different elements, and then, you know, sometimes the songs you want aren't you know, cleared, and so a lot of times things change really fast too, and it just wasn't the right ingredients at the right time.
Yeah, everything didn't gel together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked a lot about music clearance too, because Mandy was even saying, you guys,
they hate it.
Solos too, like sometimes they're like, oh, sorry, your solos, you know, we can't get the music clearance.
And then they hand you a list of songs they already have cleared, you
and
have to
it's
pick from a list.
Conga by Gloria Estefan and like On the Road Again and the Harlem Shake. And you're like, I'll go with Conga, but can we get the Vitamin String Quartet version? They're like, no, absolutely not.
Gloria.
I remember when we first did the show, because I was the first season, so they didn't know anything. They didn't know what they were doing. They were like, can you give us a list of songs that you would like to dance to? And this is before we even knew we were have to do solos, things like that. So I gave them a list of like 100 songs. And a week later, they come back. 3 of them were cleared. Like, I'm not kidding. 100 songs I gave them. 3 of them were cleared.
Wow. Did you cry?
No, I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Well, back to the drawing board.
Yes.
Here's 100 more, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I can get 3 more out of that.
Yeah. They actually
Let's
had
hope.
to, for one of my solos, they had to call the artist and ask them and show them a clip of me dancing and see, because it was like an unreleased song and they hadn't released it yet and all this stuff, and yeah, they ended up clearing it, which was awesome.
That's great.
Which I think is why people like Christina Perri and, you know, they had Christoph Felipe, which is one of our good friends' fiancés, and he just premiered his music on the show, but it's so easy to go into underground artists and say, hey, I love your music, let me put it on. Because they're excited to get their music out there.
course.
You know?
Christina
It's
Perri, I mean,
perfect.
she got so much press.
Sharp
Yeah.
hearts.
She-
Holy
yes.
cow. I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to the 5th dance. Rudy and Jenna doing the cha-cha with Louis Van Amstel.
I love Jenna.
Me too.
I mean, she is a goddess. I'm sorry. Like, I was so bummed when she got voted off her season. I was like, oh, because I thought she was going to win. I thought she was amazing.
Do you know the fans?
Just did not like her.
They didn't like
They
her.
never liked the ballroom girls because I think the fans get jealous that they're all hot and gorgeous and talented and beautiful.
But then she nails it on Dancing with the Stars. Like,
Yeah.
you watch her in Troop, you're like, Jenna, like every single time. If she's not moved up to pro, I would be surprised if she doesn't get moved up to pro
I
this
hope she
season.
does.
I hope she does too.
does.
And I have to say, Louis Van Amstel, I always like his choreography because it's very clean, it's very crisp. And I know some people don't like it, but I'm like, you know exactly what you're going to get, and you know it's going to be precise.
He never does anything weird either, where you're like, what were they thinking?
Yeah.
Just
It's
do the style.
Sometimes, like,
Yeah.
the story becomes so much a part of it. And I'm like, just let them dance. Like, that's what he said. He was like, this is about dancing and the connection.
Steven
Me-
Spielberg, like, production of, like, the minute and 30-second duet. I'm like,
Mandy
it
said
doesn't
that
matter.
last
here.
week. She goes, I hate it when she's like, a ladybug meets like a flower. And, you know, and she goes, I just hate the stories that they try and get us to do. She's like, just dance, no concept. Like,
Yeah.
you'll
Well,
feel
when
it.
the concept gets in the way of the dancing, then it really becomes a problem. You know?
Because
You
it
don't
It
want
just gets
that.
too heavy. And it's
It's
like,
too
and it
heavy.
dumbs
Wow.
down the
Too deep.
audience. Like,
Yeah.
you're dumb. We're going to give you a story so you understand it.
Right. It's like you don't go see like Netherlands Dance Theater, which is like one of like the best companies in the world, and have them be like, this is the story. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're
time we
just
do
watching this beautiful movement and dance, and you interpret it the way you want to. And that's what dance should be.
That it leaves so much more creativity for the viewer.
Yeah. And the choreographer and the dancers.
Right,
Yes,
and it maybe
everyone.
would educate the viewers to maybe be a little bit better about who they're voting for, as
Yeah.
opposed to like who their favorite conceptual dance was. You know what I mean?
All right, well, let's talk about Rudy and this cha-cha, because I actually thought he held his own pretty well against Jenna, and I think that that's really hard. But Rudy is personality plus, so
Yeah.
I think that this was the right moment for him.
I think I was like, I feel like he almost missed a calling being a ballroom dancer. I think as a contemporary dancer,
Is that what
Are
he's on
we-
the show for? Is contemporary?
Contemporary.
Yes,
Okay, because he is a ballroom dancer.
Yeah.
Like his
he is.
studio in Florida comes to the dance convention that we both teach for, and they're a full like ballroom and jazz and contemporary studio, and they kill all of their Latin ballroom stuff. So it wasn't that much of a stretch for him.
Yeah.
because that's what
Well-
he does. But he's great at it. And
I thought
he's-
that dance was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did too. I loved
him.
it.
He's
Yeah.
so
Loved
funny
it.
too. He's a good kid.
Everyone says he's like hilarious.
He's a lot, but
Behind the
he's
scenes.
really
Yeah.
funny. And I love the kid. It's just sometimes you're like, Rudy, breathe.
Or-
Are you breathing? Okay, good. Because he's just so excited about dance.
Yeah.
But that's good. And
Oh, it's great.
And it's why he's in the top 10. He's not that. I was like, I told Mandy last week, I'm like, his lack of pointed toes is driving me nuts. She goes, we worked on it all week because he finally pointed his toe last week for like the first time. I'm like, yes, thank you for doing that.
And
Because
he's partnered with Allison next week, right?
Yes.
That's
Which I
a
think is gonna
lot
be-
of
That's
energy
big.
on
Yeah.
stage.
That's
That
big.
is a lot of energy.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
big.
fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think if they like rein it in right, it could be really interesting.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like he's slowly becoming an adult on stage. Like watching him, you can see him maturing, and I think that's really, really impressive.
When you see people improving, I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, people love to watch people on their journey, and so to watch anyone like improving, then you just like, oh, you fall in love with them.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the show's all about every year.
I do really think that he could make it all the way to the end, just based on his personality, and if he gets the right styles that show him off in the right way. I don't know. I just think he has the personality that could win people over.
Yeah, I'm trying to
True,
think
but he
of
also
stuff.
has that personality that can make it very polarizing for people that are like, oh,
Calm
God,
down,
oh, God,
yeah.
calm down. You know what I mean? But I think he has a good chance to make it to the finals.
Yeah.
No one's complaining about him. I'll be honest, because
Really?
sometimes we hear like who they're complaining about, like, oh gosh, they're so annoying.
Uh-huh.
I'm not hearing that about Rudy.
that's
so
good.
yeah,
That's
it's
good.
Yeah.
It
a
is
good
good.
thing.
One thing I want to ask, just because you guys had that amazing stage, I miss the old stage.
I do too, honestly.
It's like a big gaping hole now, the stage.
It is.
You know, I think the dancers kind of get lost sometimes in it because it's bigger and it's deeper. Before, the depth of the stage was kind of masked by the fact that they had that staircase and you had those levels. And I think the choreographers were a little more creative with entrances and exits and how to set up the pieces. And I feel like there were maybe less prompts too back in the day because of that, there wasn't enough room for all that crap on stage. So now it's kind of, there's this big hole there, you know. It's
Yeah.
a little bit easier to light, I would say, but
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, it's just kind of a big, deep, not very wide stage.
I just felt that the old stage, it allowed the audience to be a part of the
Yes.
They're
dance,
surrounded.
a part of
It's
the
so
show.
intimate.
They're
Yeah,
so
I
far
miss that
back now, the
intimacy.
audience.
So
Yeah.
far back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a proscenium. I mean, it's just flat. Like, that's what you're looking at, dance in your face. But that was just like an immersive experience. I mean, I remember the dances going up the stairs and into that little balcony area. That was great.
As a contestant, I loved being able to interact with the audience more. And when they were surrounding us, you know, you'd walk off stage and you'd like talk to people and you'd say hi and you'd lean down and like get to know people for a second. And I thought that was so fun. I don't feel like that's as much of an interactive experience for the audience anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't
It probably
feel
helped
like-
you guys performance-wise too, I would
Oh
imagine.
yeah,
too.
the energy was
Yeah,
amazing.
because you feel it. All right, before we go on to the 6 through 10 dances, I just want to remind everyone, thanks for downloading the podcast on iTunes and rating us 5 stars. We sure appreciate it. And all of your comments on YouTube's as well. YouTube. And YouTube's, all the tubes. And, of course, all of your comments on Twitter. We get them
Yes,
all.
we like them all.
Thank you. All right, next up, we have Jackie and Keon. Travis Wall, contemporary ballet. First time we've ever seen contemporary ballet in 11 seasons is kind of astonishing.
It's a brave move. It really is, because contemporary ballet, getting on those point shoes on that stage, and
That stage is brutal.
I
Yeah.
mean, it is a challenge, and I think that for what they were given, and thank God, I mean, Travis really knows how to choreograph that type of piece, so they really got a good hand in that. And I thought that she really pulled it off. I mean, that was a really challenging like plate to be handed.
And Keon did not overshadow her. I was
No.
worried about that.
Yeah, me too.
Well, the work made it so that, I mean, in ballet, it's all about the female. That's what it is. So I feel like Travis did a really great job at giving Keon his moments, but also having it be, you know, a real contemporary ballet piece, and it was beautiful, and the lighting was gorgeous.
Stunning.
It's beautiful.
That's Emmy Award-winning lighting.
And
You know
I
what?
really-
1 second. If he does not win the Emmy at some point, I'm gonna kill someone.
All of you.
It's gonna happen. I'm gonna go on a mass dance murdering spree.
All of the ballots we're doing today, so hopefully people voted.
I hope
mean, come
he
on,
deserves to
people.
win.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Sorry. Just
No,
deserves
hey,
to
you
win.
gotta do it.
He deserves to
Who
win.
do you
He
think's
really
gonna
does.
win the choreography Emmy this year? Any predictions? Because you got 4, so you think dancer, choreographers, and Derek Huff from Dance with the Stars.
Well, Derek didn't have this one, so he's out.
Yeah, last year you were walking on air.
So I mean, I would hope either Travis or Mandy, because I think they're the two
Yep.
I think they
best,
both
most
deserve
brilliant, most well-rounded choreograpers on the show.
Yeah.
So
We'll see what happens. They're early this year because they're doing the Creative Arts Emmys. They're not putting it on the big show.
Which makes me sad.
Which sucks, because last year it was so exciting to have
So
it there.
I
exciting.
love that.
I tweeted the Television Academy, and like a bunch of people retweeted it because I was like, let them know for 2015 because
Yeah.
just make it
I
a
think they're
production number.
trying. Right now, I think they're trying to break the choreographers into their own grouping, so that the choreographers all vote on it. So right now, all the directors and all the are basically looped in with the choreographers. So you have all these directors and people that don't know dance, and they're kind of just basing it off of, you know, who's
Television
popular.
of,
And,
yeah.
So I feel like right now they're. I just actually talked to my agent before. My agent, so LA.
LA.
But I talked to
You
my
with
agent
MSA
about that.
or Clear Talent?
Clear. I'm with
Talent.
Clear, yeah.
Okay.
So they're doing like a little, I guess, cocktail reception where you're performing it at this Sunday with Trav,
Yeah.
and they want the you know, the community of choreographers there to kind of show that we are all
United.
united.
I liked that.
That's awesome.
I like that. I got invited to that today, actually, but I'm going to be at the Teen Choice Awards.
Oh, jealous.
Are you gonna get slimed?
Teen Choice.
Oh, wait,
maybe.
no. So.
I'll be on the red carpet. All right, maybe I'll get slimed on the red carpet. You never know.
You know who I do wish could have danced this? Jaimie or Eliana.
Yeah.
The contemporary
think,
ballet?
Yes. I think that it would have been a whole.
She
I mean,
was
I liked
missing-
Jackie. I liked her, but it just, for me, I wanted to be like completely just in. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted something
She
more.
was missing like the full like that
full
extension of it and the finish through like her bone. Like
Yeah.
there was something where it just kind of stopped at the muscle and didn't finish through like. I don't know.
Fully.
She's
Yeah.
a careful dancer, I think,
Yes.
too. Yeah.
a little timid.
Yeah,
But
it
I-
could have been riskier.
I did like her connection with him because you could see her always checking in with him, and I liked that. But for me, I just
Who
wanted it
wouldn't
to
want
be
to
like,
connect with
hello.
Kiara?
well, ding dong, hello.
USB drive. Firewire.
Let's all connect with Keon.
Oh, that's great.
Charge it.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Who doesn't want to connect with Keon? Let's go. All right,
Hashtag.
we're running out of time, so I'm just going to keep on plowing through these. Ricky and Lauren, Jazz, many more.
Loved it.
Very rockabilly.
Loved it.
So good.
Her body
cute.
looked snatched.
Yeah.
I love
It was
Lauren
cute.
so much, and she looked great with Ricky.
And it was good to see Ricky like do something fast and athletic because I feel like he hasn't done a lot of that this season. Where I've known him as a dancer for a long time. That's a struggle for him, is to be fast and really athletic and strong. So it was really great to see him do that. And I know Mandy is super hard, and she's very hard on her dancers, and she gets the most out of them. So it was awesome to see
She's
that.
got a good critical eye.
She's the best. I've learned more from her than any other person I have pretty much in my entire life.
Wow.
So, for dance, she's amazing.
Good to know. What did you think of the piece?
Oh my god, I thought it was phenomenal. It was one of my favorite pieces of the night, actually. It stood out to me a lot because of how cohesive their energy was together. And it didn't look like they were fighting each other for their energy level. It was just like, bam. And you could sit down and watch it as an audience member and enjoy it. I just love that.
That split through to the roll.
The
at
roll
the
at
end.
the end was
rolling
so
out.
cool.
The end
So
was what
cool.
sold it for me. That
Oh
was
my God,
great.
Done.
Yeah.
Done. And Nigel then called poor Ricky a hobbit. What was
What
that?
does, like-
What was that?
If Ricky is a
we
hobbit,
Middle
then
Earth?
what does that make him?
Yeah. Let's go there for a minute.
Let's go there for a minute, Gandalf.
I die.
I can't.
I die. We're in Middle Earth.
Gandalf
Okay.
and Bray.
Moving right along, we've got Casey and Catherine, Spencer Lift, Broadway piece. I'm going to start off on this one because I watched with my boyfriend who is not a dancer. He can tango a little bit, but that's it. And he said, you know what? Casey needs more danger. He was like, it's too boyish. And that was his takeaway from that.
That was my takeaway actually from like the entire night last night, is I feel like I wasn't watching grown-ups dancing.
Adults, yeah.
I was watching a bunch of kids forced to dance with older statesmen that are a little more seasoned, and it really showed last night. It really showed that it through all the contestants that they were just not as seasoned as maybe they have been on previous seasons, or maybe it was just an off week or something, but they looked really immature and very dance competition last night.
Yeah. And I think it's tough dancing with Catherine too because she
She's
is
a movie star,
womanly
literally.
and-
She looks
was a
like
movie star.
yes.
Oh my gosh, she is. She's like a Hollywood star. No matter what she's doing. I mean, anytime you see her, she's just
Even in
more and more
class, like
gorgeous.
she's the only person I watch in class, and she's so
smart.
gorgeous,
So
and
smart.
her spirit, I
Beyond.
mean, just the fact that she's the most amazing person, her heart and soul, that shines through so much. She can just stand there on stage and you're like melting.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
what
killer.
about Casey? Sorry.
No, I didn't. No, but I didn't watch
like,
it
oh, we
because
love
I didn't really watch
Catherine
him either.
made the piece.
yeah, she's one of my favorites. So I'm just like,
He's
what's
kind of been
Catherine
like
doing?
that for me all season, though. I'm always like, who is that kid? He's actually come, and he's another one that has come to our dance conventions before, and he didn't even actually make like our top 10 at nationals.
Really?
No. So I was a little shocked that he actually made it.
Made it through.
On the show.
Mandy last week was pretty critical. She's like, he needs some more, he needs to really get out there and do some more, have some more maturity in his dancing and a mature approach. And she definitely was candid about that.
I did like the style for him. I thought it was really mature in a way-ish, like pushing him toward that. But Catherine is just elegance and grace in a grown-up
green dress.
And a grown-up when she dances.
It was like watching a black and white movie, but in color.
Yeah.
I mean, when you looked at her, you're like, oh my God, I'm in the 40s.
She's perfection. She really is.
She is, in every way. And newly engaged, too.
I know, I saw that ring on her
Machu
finger.
Picchu, like up in Peru. Hello. That's like kind of amazing.
Hello.
The best place. Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
All right, Jessica and Twitch doing nappy tabs, hip hop.
So cute.
My sister was watching the show with me, and she was like, "Who is that old guy?"
Great job, hair
at
and
first I was
makeup.
like, I just saw Twitch a couple weeks ago. Did he gain a lot of
That's
weight?
what
And
I
then
was thinking.
I was like, why is he busting at the seams? And I'm like, oh, they stuffed him with a pillow or whatever.
And he
fake
still
belly.
moved that great.
It was awesome.
That's
Yeah,
nappy
Jessica?
tabs at their best. Like when they do stuff like that, where it's clever and it's funny and it's really intricate and there's a storyline to it. That's my favorite. That's when their stuff is so good. Is when it's clever and it's really thoughtful.
And they do that so well. They have an ability to take hip hop and make it into that touching conceptual piece, which that doesn't always work with hip hop. With them, they have a knack for that. It's always so successful.
They were missed. They've been away most of the season, and just having them back, I've realized I was like, wow, I really did miss them more than I even thought I would.
I was like, the hip hop hasn't been that good compared to what they've done.
I
really.
like what Luther Brown usually does, but he hasn't even been around that much. So we just really haven't seen anything really break out.
I just am really happy for Jessica because I think she's finally had some moments to really shine. Because at the beginning, it was like all Jessica from the audition process. And then now it's like she's back. And I'm
She
happy.
looked really beautiful too last night. The way her hair and makeup and the overall look that they gave her. I was like, from the package to her on stage, I was like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty.
She
She's
cleans
gorgeous.
up
Oh my
well.
Yeah, she cleaned up so well.
She does. And then finally we move on to Zach and Amy, Sonia Taya, contemporary piece. This was, I think, a breakout for Zach, though, don't you think? You're
Yes.
making a face, but don't...
I just, it didn't really do anything for me. Like, it didn't go anywhere. It didn't really do anything. There was a lot of handstands. I don't know.
Was that the
He was
choreography
great.
or the dancing or a combination of both?
No, I mean, it has to be a combination of both. You can't pin it one on the other, but I don't know. I didn't feel, I don't know. I didn't feel it. I felt like I was really proud of him that he did that, and now that there was a transition in there where they stepped one way and then they pirouetted the next way and they actually had to change spots, and that is, for any dancers out there, you know how hard it is to change spots mid-pirouette. I thought that was really impressive. I was like, wow, that was really hard, and I'm really proud that he nailed that, and he did a really clean pirouette. But I don't know. I didn't love it, I guess, as much as other people loved it, and I don't know. I'm not a real big fan of, like, the sappy, overly drawn-out contemporary numbers that are like it's too much.
Mandy
like,
said she thought that Zach could rival or be one of the finalists with
I
Ricky.
did too.
Yeah.
I really like Zach. I
Yeah.
love watching him. And actually, I really liked him in the boys piece, too. I thought he stuck out a lot with, along with Ricky. I thought Ricky and Zach were the two strongest boys for me, for the past couple weeks.
The way that he moves his upper body and extends through his arms is truly exceptional for a tap dancer, especially. I'm always so shocked at how he can really, really lengthen through his arms. It's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
it's all that, like, flapping and shuffling off to Buffalo.
He's got it.
He's got it.
I feel like it's Casey. Casey's going to be the one to go next week. I feel like, I don't know.
I kind of felt that way too a little
Yeah.
bit.
Zach, I mean, who else?
I know,
Rudy,
you know.
Ricky. I mean, it's a hard one.
It's
That's
going to
a
be
tough.
tough from here on out.
It is. You
That's
don't
always
want
the
to
thing,
have
though.
to pick.
Like, the top 10 always gets, like, you always get your heart hurt. Because you're like, oh,
They're all
that person got
good.
sent home.
Yeah.
Like,
They're all going on tour. It's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah,
it's all
that's
good
good.
stuff.
Yeah.
It is good stuff. Just quickly, a rundown of our all-stars. Nick, you've got Tanisha.
I know.
You haven't
I'm
started
excited
rehearsal
for
yet
you.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we start tomorrow.
All right. You
We're
excited?
doing liturgical contemporary clogging
Clogging.
to the Vitamin String Quartet version of Via Dolorosa.
I love it. All
So
right.
you finally got them, Vitamin String Quartet.
We finally got
Good.
approved. Thanks,
Ryan
Fox.
and Valerie, that's going to be killer. Like,
She's got to learn to lift,
she's
like
got,
help herself.
Exactly. Allison and Rudy, we talked about. Twitch and Jackie. Jamie and Ricky, you like score
I mean,
jackpot.
it's gonna
I got
be
the
like
winner.
beyond.
Who's got the best tilt? It's gonna be like
It's
dueling
gonna be a
tilts.
competition.
Maybe we can do like dueling banjos and it's like ding 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 ding. Like,
This one has me a bit worried. How about Comfort and Casey?
Ooh,
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one.
that's gonna be
Comfort.
And there's such
Comfort,
different heights
comfort,
too.
comfort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is
gonna watch
totally
her.
different like planets.
Really?
Dancer
Will and
planets.
Jessica.
I think that'll be really great. I
I
love
think that'll
Will.
be good. He's
Love
awesome.
Will.
And Mackenzie and Zach. I think that's a good
I'm glad
partnership.
Mackenzie's back. 'cause
That's another one
she's
that
sick.
hurt my soul when she got voted off. I love that
Those
girl
feet.
more than life.
Woo.
Yes.
Those feet.
Give me a good pair of feet.
Good. She was
Love 'em.
amazing. She's beautiful too. Like
Yeah.
so stunning. Before we wrap up, Shaping Sound, you guys going back out on tour, correct?
Yeah, we
Are.
start. We haven't announced our official LA dates, but look around October 11th and 12th, and we're actually holding an audition next week. An agent call. Sorry, all your dancers, but
You need an agent.
yeah, it would just be too crazy
Sorry.
because we don't have enough time to see everybody. But yeah, we're excited. We're excited to generate some new blood into the company, and we're excited to work on our show again, do a little fine tuning and retooling. And
How many dancers are you looking for? Just
I think we need 2 guys and 3 girls, but one of the girl spots has already been filled. I think we just haven't made it official yet.
very good. All right, and I just want to clear up one rumor. Did you want a penthouse, or the rental of a penthouse in your first season? I
Yeah,
love this.
it was-
Now it seems so weird.
It was weird, yeah. They were gonna give me this beautiful, amazing, full, amazing pad in New York City for a year, and I wanted to move to New York anyways, but I was going to be devastated if after living in a year of this gorgeous apartment, moving into a 500 square foot rat infested 5-store floor walk up.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
It's 6 boroughs away.
right? So I took the money and ran.
Very
I actually
good.
took the money for
That's
So you
it.
got your
Very
$100 grand plus the rental.
Yeah, I actually
money.
ended up with 172,000.
Oh, you're a smart one.
I know, and then I
businessman.
invested 60 or 70 of that in a retirement account.
Good for
Save your
you.
money, kids.
Save your
Save your
money.
money. Dancers do not have retirements. Save your money.
Yes, and dancers in business sense. Sometimes they don't go hand in hand, so that's
Talk
really
to your
good.
parents about it. If they don't know, go to a financial advisor.
I love that. And Emmy-winning number last year, Walking on Air from Dancing with the Stars. Just give us a quick rundown of that
Yes.
before we go, because that was just to die for.
It was one of the coolest experiences, honestly, because we were actually in a room that did rotate 360 degrees. So the rehearsal process was us with a guy with a remote control, timing out every single time that it moved. And, it wasn't easy to rewind when you made a mistake. So everything had to be very, very meticulous. And we did it in one shot. So it was a one
That's
take.
amazing.
How many bruises did you have?
No, not just bruises, Kristen.
Cuts?
Oh my God. There's a part in the very beginning where I just slide down the wall and I stop myself on the desk.
Yeah.
And my foot slipped off and I literally went bam. I guess I don't know if I can say the word badge.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah,
Cooter smash.
We're okay with
She
badge.
said it.
Cooter
Okay,
smash.
so cooter smashed right into the pole.
Oh.
Not only that, but then my bone, my shin bone just bam, right against the table. So my cooter and my shin. And I'm just crying. And Derek's sitting there and he feels so bad. And he's just like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't know. Feeling my leg, and there was a divot that big in my leg. I mean, it took a second to heal from
I
that.
thought you were going to say in your cooter.
I know,
there's a
I was
divot.
thinking-
In my cooter.
No, my cooter handled it, but
I'm dying. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how to wrap up this show,
I
but
don't either.
Courtney Galliano will be here next week.
Woo, CG.
Amazing. She's awesome. We love her.
I saw her in hair this
I
weekend.
did too.
It was
I
great.
went to the invited
how was
dress.
it?
It was awesome.
Very
It was great.
good.
Really
I heard
good.
that they didn't go full Monty.
No, they did not.
didn't.
Which is the whole point of the show.
I wanted to
bummed.
see some.
But they had an audition that they did go full Monty.
That's
callback
because
may have to
Adam
be-
Shankman wanted to see it. Adam wanted to see it. We all
Kudos.
know. We all
Kudos.
know how she wanted to see it.
Starting rumors on AfterBuzz TV. I love
love
it.
it, too.
All right. Tell everyone where they can find you online, Nick.
You can find me at Twitter at Nick Lazzarini and Instagram at Nick Lazzarini.
All right, Jaimie, how about you?
Twitter at Jaimie_Goodwin and Instagram at Jaimie Goodwin. And Jaimie is spelled with 2 I's, gets pretty confusing. JAIMIEGOODWIN.
Jake.
You can find me on Twitter at Jake_DuPree and on Instagram at Jake DuPree. We have the same issue.
And you guys, this is Jake's last show for the season. I know. You're going to be back joining me for Dancing with the Stars, though, a couple weeks into the season. Okay.
Don't give up on me. Don't give up on me.
If you're in San Diego, take your shirt.
I'm fine.
I know. But if you're in San Diego, go see him and catch me if you can. And I'm at Kristyn Burtt, and you'll find me on the Kristyn Burtt at Instagram and Facebook. So I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.